Will Packer and I are always sort of, wanting to work with each other and find projects that stretch us and, continue the sort of legacy he and I have. And so that's number one. And when he brought me this script, I was like, really, Will? Okay, we're going here. And, for us, this is a new type of film. We've done thrillers before, but this steps into a slightly different realm, I think it's a first. Okay, yeah, we've seen films where it's the antagonist is a beast or an animal or whatever, and we've seen, being chased, but this has a dynamic which merges both this family dynamic, which you're definitely invested in, alongside the thriller aspects of this animal and the chase. And the thrill ride doesn't stop. But this story is kind of like a story about a family, they're a grieving family led by Dad, Nate, and his two daughters. And, they're both teenage daughters. They're grieving because their mother, his late wife, passed. And I think their relationship has been strained, the family, the remaining family, the relationship's been strained. So, they take this trip to Africa where Mom was from, the village that she was from, and Dad thinks it's a great idea to sell her, like, hey, let's go back to where Mom's from, let's perhaps rekindle while we're there. If you haven't been to Africa, this is a great film for you to see, because you'll see how, like, they call it God's country, South Africa, they call it God's country, and you see why. So we find ourselves in this beautiful landscape, going back to the village where she comes from, and when they get there, basically, that village has all but, emptied. There's no one there. Something's gone wrong. What we examine next is, survival. This animal in this small radius of the village, just outside the village, this is the animal's territory. This lion, that's his territory. And it's his territory because he's rogue. He doesn't want anyone else coming in there. And he doesn't want any humans destroying, his landscape. So this is where the bulk of the movie stays, and we follow Nate and the girls as they try to survive. Okay, so what you learn is that there is a rogue lion, and this isn't just any lion. This lion happens to be a very large one. When this thing hits the car, you feel the car move. Now, your average lion, yeah, but not this lion. This lion's huge. It's like it's another car hitting another car, basically. And we spend a lot of time sort of really giving the audience a sense of this lion's scale in its power. And also, what's interesting about this lion is that it's quite smart. It's thinking, it's calculated, and it's in its nature, it's a predator. But this particular lion is kind of, I'm going to go for these people. He's not going anywhere else. He's going to just circulate on these people. We don't really understand why, but towards the end of the film, you get a sense of what's going on. He does whatever he can to, try and get his family safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't know how to use guns. That's not his thing, but he will. He's not a fighter, but he'll try and, fight for his kids. So I think in this movie, he really is stretched to, to save his kids. It just screamed a lot of nostalgia for me, the genre, the sort of thrill, the sort of, intense, sort of take the audience out of their comfort zone and put them somewhere else. That whole ingredient palette was what, really excited me. There's a family dynamic and there's a real tension dynamic. You know me, I like to make films that are never the same. I like to, spread, and I hadn't made a film like this, so I was really, attracted to it. The writing of the script is good, and I really wanted to work with Bolt. I actually took the film to Bolt and said, hey, I want you to make this, would you please play? And he was like, yeah, I'd love to, and and that's where this started to come together. I'm really proud of it. I think it's really well executed, I believe, and hopefully audiences just go along for the ride. You know, he's definitely in these films not the hero. He's not the guy that's like, oh man, he knows how to handle himself, he's gonna be okay. This is a man that's actually broken by the loss of his wife and the loss of the mother of his children, and their relationship. I mean, him and his kids. That relationship is fractured at the beginning of this movie. Nate is no fighter, you know, and even for his family, I guess he's kind of guilty of giving up after his wife has died. So there's definitely this broken man feeling of Nate when you meet him, and I think what they go through is extraordinary, but actually helps repair the relationship that has been, like I said, fractured, and repairs him. Even though he gets almost shred to pieces, I think he comes back a much stronger man. I liked that, you know, from a character perspective, it was complex for me to try and pull this together so that he is relatable. He's a dad, and he is the guy that he's not sure what he's gonna do next, but he'll do what he has to. And I really, you know, wanted to bring that alive, and Bolton and I, you know, we sort of marked the territory of the script where, you know, this was where he was most fragile versus where he's most triumphant. And that balance was really important. I also liked that, you know, there was gonna be this really intricate, you know, battle between the beast as a lion and the beast that is the man. And, you know, the technicalities of making this film were challenging, you know, in terms of how, you know, the actual mechanics of a lion versus a man, what that felt like and looked like. But also the sort of symbolic, you know, fight for two characters that essentially are living on opposite sides. You know, the lion has been ripped from its family and therefore fearful for its life and will fight for its territory. And, you know, Nate is the same. You know, he's mourning. He may lose his daughters, not only, you know, in terms of their love for him, but also in actuality with this threat. So that fight is really, you know, it's like a real battle. So I enjoyed, you know, reading the script, thinking how we pull this together. It was just, you know, Baltasar is very much, you know, a guy who wants to see it in the camera. He doesn't want to fake it. So we had a lot of preparation, actually. So a lot of consultation with the people that, you know, that do this for a living. Not fight lions, but, you know, doctors and whatnot, and poachers, and not poachers, but anti-poaching teams. We had to do a lot of understanding of what this reality looks like. Obviously it's a film, yeah, and some things, you know, we took artistic license for, but we did a lot of research. And there was a lot of prep, a lot of sitting around with the script, talking through things, lots of rehearsal. Yeah, they were really great to work with. Iyana and Leah both were just professionals, fun to be around, open-hearted, and, you know, took the work really seriously. And, you know, the good news is that we got along really well, and we became a little family anyway. You know, we really did, because we found ourselves spending long periods of time together, and we got to know each other a little bit, and I think some of that really transferred onto the screen. You know, sometimes the lines between action and cut just blurred because we were really a sort of like a family unit. And it was really important for us to texturize that for the audience, because it is a big spine of the film, you know. You want them to survive this line, but you also want them to patch their relationship up. Yeah, there are definitely those metaphors, you know, death is a beast, you know, and it will come and it might not tell you when, and it's frightening and scary, but you have to, you know, you have to go through that. Everyone probably has to, and it's kind of like a bit of a metaphor with the lion, who is also scared and longing and wants safety like everyone else does. You know, Bolt has an incredible sort of way to, you know, put the audience in the seat of the people in the films. He's done survival films in the past, and they've all been thrilling to watch. They're just, you know, you really get a sense of the reality of what we're going through. And I felt that this script, the bad version of it, would not pay attention to what this would actually feel like. The good version is what we end up doing, where we're really layering what this feels like, how scary it is, and how unpredictable this can be, how isolating it is, and how tense it is. So, you know, Bolt knows how to, you know, layer those things in a realistic way. You know, I was really keen for audience, I don't want audience to roll their eyes and go, that would never happen. I mean, obviously it's a movie, but we wanted to really pay attention to just the actuality. Yeah, that was, you know, part of his whole sort of pitch of how he wants to do this is that, you know, let's keep the camera flowing so the audience don't get a sense of this is a movie. They're actually feeling like they're on this experience with us. It's a really interesting technique, but it also made quite difficult work. You know, we had to do perfect takes a lot, and, you know, sometimes that would take a long time to get. So there was a lot of rehearsal, but the style really, really amplifies the tension in the film. Yeah, you know, this is the first time I really understood the complexities of FX, and, you know, because me and my performance were an intricate part of building, you know, a lot of this, the lion's behavior, the big lion fight. These were things that we really sort of mapped out. We had a stunt performer and an animal impersonator who brought that sort of physical energy into it. Owen, and, you know, Owen and I would actually be fighting while he's got this incredible mask on and these, you know, like green screen suits. But that really layered, you know, the action. We wanted to be observant of the dynamics of a lion attacking a human being, which, you know, we saw some footage of real attacks, and then gnarly, you know. And we wanted to make sure that the audience got a sense of that in this film, and more than a sense of it, but really feel like this is actually happening to my character. Yeah, I think, you know, we felt a responsibility to sort of not villainize the lion. You know, it's called Beast, but that's a metaphor for a few of the themes within this film. I feel definitely that, you know, just paying attention to what is actually happening right now and how lions end up in those situations. Lions don't typically attack humans. It's uncharacteristic, but a rogue lion would have happened if a human tried to attack it or its pride or a surrounding animal group, and the lion got caught in the crosshairs. So, you know, we didn't want to beat anyone over the head about it. This is not what the film's about, but it certainly felt a good way to make sure that we are. It's a thrill ride. It's really like designed to, you know, keep the audience on the edge of their seats. It's scary. I think it's got a lot of, you know, anxiety, you know, built into it, because, you know, no one wants to be chased by a lion, especially one this size and stuff. But I think we really pulled off something that actually is a thrill ride. The audience can watch together and just be like, whoa! It is really stunning. The environment's beautiful. We caught light that, you know, it rarely gets caught on camera. You know, we shot from about 4 a.m. to 7, where the light is just beautifully sun-kissing the environment, and then we shot so like from 3 to 5, where the light was even better. Anything else, the sun was a bit too harsh. So we got some really beautiful landscape shots, and we just wanted to make sure that the isolation of this family was really felt by the audience. Will and I, you know, have made a few films together. We trust each other's instincts on certain things, and you know, we wanted to make something that we hadn't made before. We've done thrillers before, but this was something that outside of our wheelhouse, essentially. And it's been incredible, a journey with Will. We shared a lot of the decisions made. You know, we worked as a team. Bolt was very collaborative, really great. I think, you know, like, if I was put in a situation like that, man, you know, I'd probably do what Nate does, but the truth is that I would not try and fight this thing. I'd try and run as far as I can. I have no qualms about saying that. But the fact is, you know, if my children are being threatened, well, I'll fight. No, I never. You know, like in the spectrum of filmmaking, this is pretty out there, but hey, I love it. Yeah, I think this is one of those films that's, you know, it's popcorn ready. You know, I hate to make comparisons, I'm not going to, but in a way, Maverick really had that old school, I'm just going to enjoy myself and come out of there going, woo! I feel like this has got the same ingredients. So I haven't seen the full film. Today is the day of the premiere. I'm going to see the full film tonight and I'm super excited. Yeah, totally, you said it, you know, that message in this film is pretty prominent, but it's not, like you said, you know, we're not trying to make the film about that. It is important to understand that, you know, we, you know, took the time to understand what are the dynamics in this part of the world, what happens to these animals because of poachers. Were there ways that we could help, you know, as a film company? But at the same time, we also paid attention to our footprint there, you know, not to disrupt the animals as well. And the film, you know, the lion isn't a villain in this case for me. He is someone that's very similar to my character. I'm really proud of the film. I think there's, you know, there's a lot to be said about making an old school film that just, you know, feels real, feels fun, not fun, but thrilling and heartwarming, and not trying to be too overly complicated or too long. It is a piece of entertainment, and I think, you know, like I said, I think it's well executed. I watched a really great director pull together stuff that I knew nothing about in terms of special effects, and I learned a lot about, you know, how well that can be done and sometimes how badly that can be done. So that was great. You know, as a director myself, you know, watching the team pull this together was very, very special.